Welcome back to Right on the Edge. I wanted to learn more about the UK British riot situation, so I figured I would watch an episode of the podcast of the Eaters. I don't know why that's so hard to say, but sometimes, I got a little bit of a speech impediment. I'm kind of retarded. But before I get into it, I gotta pause real fast, and I will be right back. All right, now you might be wondering why I left and came back. Well, there we go. Just because I wanted to fit in a little bit. It's not like, not at all because I had just watched a video where Sargon and some British boy he knew were insulting us for, like, not dressing well. Well, take this, Sargon. I fit right in. In fact, I might be better dressed than you. You never know. But you're better groomed than me, so we're kind of even here now.
Jack Hadders was down there yesterday covering it all, and it's all very local and polite and constrained. Like, it wasn't crazy. It's not far right lunatics, goggle-eyed weirdos or anything. It's just normal local people who are concerned about their own children and why there are a bunch of foreign unvetted migrant.
I should buy this. I will say, from my perspective, watching like the coverage, it still seemed to be pretty constrained, pretty polite. People weren't bashing the cops yet. You had a few screamers, but that's to be expected. Uh, I will check out Jack Hatters though. I will see his video and check that out. Just to see what's going on there. But yeah, no, I agree. From my perspective, right? This is a layman, like a know nothing American perspective.
Men there, as in fact one local woman explains. I think we just have her explain it to us.
The hotel needs shutting, and we're out here to save our children, to protect them. There's unvetted men in the hotel, and they shouldn't be. It needs closing.
And what have you heard from being down here?
What do you mean?
What have you heard about anything that's happened with the migrants being around here?
Oh, there's been loads of stuff. My daughter works in the high road in a hairdressing salon, and they've had them come in there, intimidating them. Other people who have salons down there, they've had them coming in. There was the sexual assault. My daughter used to go to Epping St John's, and she used to walk home from school being ogled by them, spoken to by them, wolf whistled. It's just not on. It's not on.
So,
Yeah, I mean, what can you say to that, man? They just don't feel safe. You know? It's as simple as that. Like, when it gets right down to it.
that gives you an impression of what's been going on in Epping. Because the thing is, we focus on the worst aspect of it, which is the obviously the individual crime, or the crimes alleged to have been committed. But it creates a kind of culture of tension just to have them around, because they don't integrate. They're intimidating people around, And so people have been protesting constantly since the protests began.
I mean, yeah, I can see where you've come from that, especially from what I imagine is the more British point of view. For us here in America, we're used to having crazy amount of cultures, so it's actually a lot harder for us to call out one particular bad culture without it all being lumped together. But on a small island where you can see exactly who the bad culture is, like who are these culprits? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like it's more obvious for the people to point fingers, and it's definitely more obvious when they know that nothing's being done about it.
And here they are outside of the civic offices again. Jack recording, and they've won. It seems they've won.
The council voted yesterday, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The council has unanimously voted to urge the government to close the hotel.
That's the first victory of many. Like, I think this has to go all the way to the top, though. Like I said, outsider perspective, but I think it should go all the way to the top. I'm not saying no immigration, but these people should be more vetted than what they are. Like, how is it that you have so many criminals coming over? like in general. And I say the same thing in America. Like, how is it we had so many criminals coming over, completely unvetted?
Housing the asylum seekers after the demonstration. Now, the council are still talking tough, which is interesting. The Conservative leader, Chris Whitbread, says, I'm concerned that the peaceful protests are being infiltrated by the extremes of politics. It's like, I don't see any evidence for that.
It's took them 5 years, though, for the council, because these have been here 5 years.
Yep, I know.
Yeah? So they're all now finding the courage, and what this shows is that the public have given that courage. And do you know what I find exciting? Is that mothers like this who are talking now have fought this for years. But they didn't have the courage, or they didn't feel the confidence to say it. And what you're seeing now across the country is Britain's mums just speaking.
It's admirable to see a change in culture. It's also admirable for when people who might have been against you 5 or 6 years ago to change their minds. I think it's incredibly brave for people to change their minds.
Yeah. Standing up. We've had
Finally.
enough.
Yeah, people have had enough. Yeah, it's encouraging to watch.
Yeah, because when the mums come out, you know it's over.
Yeah.
And also, it's just in the government's position is just indefensible. She's like, look, they come and they harass our daughters. They're staring at them and so on. What can you say to that? It's just a normal mum telling it how it is.
I mean, I dread to think what their opinion of that is. I mean,
Sir, your mustache and beard game is on point. Like, holy hell. I'm just saying, good job. I don't even know who you are, but good job.
but the thing is, remember, they are still tough talking. So basically, they haven't actually admitted they've done anything wrong yet. For example, I mean, notice the Chris Whitbread, the leader here, being like, well, I'm worried that the residents' peaceful protests are being infiltrated by the extremes of politics. Like, what are you talking about? Where are they? You've just got a bunch of normal people in Epping saying, look, we're sick of this. It's been 5 years. It's got to stop. And then, just a quick thing, then you've got the police chief superintendent saying, we won't tolerate anyone thinking they can come and cause trouble or breach the law. So listen, just stop. You've just done exactly what these people wanted. So say, look, we're really sorry, actually. We're sorry that this was forced on you. We're sorry we went along with it. You know, we shouldn't have ruined the place that you live, and we shouldn't have made it so that kids can get molested by these strangers.
It's kind of unfortunate that force is the only way to get anything done in this country, but the precedent has been set by other people. You complain, you make a stink, you threaten, and actually things get done. That's the only way.
I find it, even with regards to, was it Jack here? The amount of now citizen journalists. They can't twist it. They can't change the narrative. They can't control the narrative. The videos that were shown of Antifa getting bust out and busted.
I honestly think that the reason why there's so many citizen journalists and people going out and actually reporting what's happening is due to the amount of lies that were told. I think it worked against them. And I don't just mean your country, but I mean mine as well. You know, I think with how many... Man, I pause on the most unfortunate faces for you, brother. Like, that's a great face, though. Like, dude, you look like you're about to summon something. Anyway, it's due to the fact of how many lies have been told that people were noticing. And so what happened is you get these people out here that are just like, that's not what's happening. Like, I gotta go and record it, you know?
By the police. Without citizen journalism, they would have totally controlled the narrative. No one would have been able to pick up on this. There's so many now. That's what I find great. And I try and give them all a shout out. Say to the public, get behind these people. Anyone on there live streaming, anyone up asking questions directly of the public, getting their opinions is so important.
I agree with that. Because the more angles there are, the more cameras there are, and the more people there are doing this, the less lies can be told, you know? And that's just the reality.
To add to that as well, there was a guy, I forgot his name, I think Marcus maybe. He was streaming for 6 to 7 hours on the ground, like consistently. And that's where he picked up some of the footage of Antifa and Stand Up to Racism, you know, were being bussed out of the area. And even the police officers saying that it was a bus. And you can leap into action with people like behind the desk or back at home. I started then, you know, investigating whether there was some sort of coordination between the councils and, of course, the police, if there's any funding as well. But like you said, you need citizen journalists to be there consistently so that people can sit back and wait. And if they see something, they can jump in and investigate.
It's the unions funding this, right?
Yes.
The unions funding it.
Yeah.
The unions in bed with the Labour Party, the government.
Yeah.
So the government aren't getting their hands dirty, but they're partners are doing exactly the same. This is nothing new either. You'll still remember my Oldham campaign, where they marched hundreds and hundreds of Muslims wearing balaclavas to a family event in a family estate. They marched them miles to come in and disrupt it and ruin it. And then the media used to just pump the headline, "Trouble at Tommy Robinson event."
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy that they could get away with that even then, you know. But that's how it was. I feel bad for Tony Robinson, man. This is a guy who spent like 9 months in solitary confinement for almost nothing that I could see, right? Like I still don't know why he was sent to prison.
Far right thugs. So they wanted to take the narrative away from the mums here who were protesting and turn it into a free-for-all, turn it into a violent confrontation. So then they could use that to silence the legitimate concerns of the community.
They can't get away from it. They can't get away from it now.
No.
You know what's interesting is Victoria Derbyshire on BBC Newsnight did a piece on this, and they were interviewing people at the
Nice. So the BBC is actually doing news. I'm kind of excited.
time, and in fact, very, very similar to what you just said.
I've just
there.
been talking to the council leader, and he said that Tommy Robinson is expected here. What do you think of that?
I'm mixed race. Okay, I'm going to say that I'm mixed race. I'm old enough to remember the BNP. Tommy Robinson is not racist.
Perfect. There you go. Right, this is a regular bloke. Just a dude.
As you're concerned, he is welcome here.
I think for me personally, I don't think it's a good idea.
Oh.
Because of the amount of people he'll bring from outside the area. At the moment, it's a local thing for local people who want to voice their opinion and want the government to do something about it. You bring Tommy Robinson here with all the good intentions in the world, I don't think it's going to end well.
It's right.
So
I think that's fair. You know, I think that's a fair perspective for a local person to have. I don't think he's being unkind either.
that guy, I think, has got a great point. And as I understand it, you haven't been down to Epping.
No, he was right. So remember, I watched a video and it was some girl saying, "Tommy, can you come down here?" When people ask for something, I find it hard not to say yeah. It was a day or 2 days I sat thinking about it, and I thought I'm going to give them the ammunition that the media want and probably that the government want to rubbish what they're doing. So then I made the decision it's best to stay away from it.
Yeah, and
Good job. Good job. Like, yeah, and this is this radical extremist they're telling you about, you know, this awful racist. Doesn't look like it.
You reached out to me as well, Carl.
I did.
A few people did give me their concerns, and I took the concerns, and I thought, if I went there, it becomes about me.
Yeah.
The chance will be about me. The issue will be about me. It won't be about the man that sexually assaulted a child in a school uniform. It won't be about the mums in the area. So yeah, I'd made the decision not to go. What this is going to show when they win, because I believe they're now gone. The council go to the Home Office telling them they need to close it. Hopefully now the Home Office make a decision to close it. It shows this is one hotel. You've got one in Norwich where 2 men have raped from that hotel. You've got them across the country. It shows the local community, get out.
Yeah, you have power.
You have power. Get out.
You can
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to see something done about that. It's crazy that these things are happening.
do this. I mean, the good people of Epping have been such a great case study in this.
Yeah.
And actually, I just want to congratulate yourself and everyone else. Like, the online right, well, it'd be so easy for us to get to Epping and just go down there and make trouble and make a scene out of it. But that wouldn't have helped. And I think this chap's exactly right. Like, look, no, we, the locals, can handle this.
Yeah,
and they have.
We've done it.
And they've absolutely won. And so basically, we can just cheer our guys on.
100%. Yeah. It's good. Like, sometimes restraint is the best advice anyone can give anybody. Like, showing restraint and thinking about the situation, and just if you take that few minutes or even like a day just to think about something, usually it'll make whatever your situation is better.
Of course, this didn't stop the media from lying about it, right? So I saw you tweet this, and I was honestly, I was apoplectic watching this. It was just like, because they lie about me all the time, they lie about you, they lie about bloody everyone. But this is just the depth of the lies.
I suppose the last summer of rioting was over the Southport killings and Axel Rudikabana and all of that, and there was some false information in the mix. This is which starts with a genuine anger against a person who's alleged to have assaulted a child, which is pretty serious.
Of course it is.
And we have to hope, I suppose, we don't have flashpoint incidents like that.
Yeah, and we can all agree that that is disgusting and wrong and that we don't want that and we want that person dealt with. But the trouble is, there is also an angle where it gets weaponized for other agendas, and the misinformation thing is really, really worrying. So if you're spreading stuff around on Facebook, as was done by Tommy Robinson, I believe, started it, saying they're all in this hotel, get down there, and then it's completely false.
She's
and
talking
then
about
also within
misinformation.
that,
That's so crazy. Lying about him in lifetime, dude. This guy's so over it, dude. Like, he's smiling, he knows. This guy knows. This guy's like, yup. Fucking. They're so pissed off.
like, actually, how does that help? And
That's simply impossible because, and I've been.
Yeah, the laugh is just like, Jesus, man. If you didn't see it, you wouldn't believe it. If you didn't know, you wouldn't believe it.
As a free speech warrior, I've been banging this drum on your behalf on this for years. What year did you get deplatformed from Facebook?
2018, I think.
Yeah, when it was just a complete.
So it was prescient of you to predict this problem in Epping
Yeah.
7 years later.
That's very clever.
You're a
She's
pioneer.
talking about misinformation.
Yeah.
She's going on about misinformation and then feeding
Yeah.
the public who are listening to the show total
I
misinformation.
know. She's got a great
Complete lies.
podcast, though.
Oh,
No,
I
I
bet
just
it's
said
brilliant.
podcast
Yeah,
host.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh,
Who,
yeah, that.
hold on. Who even is she?
No idea. She's a podcaster of some sort.
Oh, is she a podcaster?
I'm not going to cast shade because we're podcasters. But the point is, was it Jeremy Vine just has her on to just spew lies. These are just.
Do you think that they have him on intentionally to spew lies so that they themselves, the BBC, can't be held liable? Or liable? Right? Like, I'm not sure what your guys' laws are, but could the BBC potentially use that as like a cover and just say, that wasn't us, that was a podcaster. We're not associated with her, she was just a guest.
Untruths.
They should put one of you on for the other side.
Right?
Ofcom regulations.
Well, exactly. Where's the no, Ofcom aren't going to come for them, though, are they?
No.
You know, come for GB News all the time. And so I thought that what I think this shows is a general sense of tension in the country, right? And I think that, I mean, you know, we all speak to lots of people on the online right, but we also speak to lots of people in, you know, the normal world. Can we have a quick? How do you guys feel about the way things are going at the moment?
How do I feel? I feel there's been a mass
I don't
awakening.
know.
I feel the public are ready. I feel that we've been waiting 15 years for this. We've been waiting for the public to be ready to listen and understand what's happening. And there's been a catalogue of things that have resulted in this, from the rapes, even from COVID, the questioning of the media, the lies, the recent story of the Afghans being brought in, people knowing they're being gaslit by the media and the government on.
I think in a lot of ways, Americans have been feeling the same way. It's like finally that the normal window, or what do they call that window? The window of normalcy. I can't think of the term right now. But either way, finally the public perception shifted back just a bit of it, and a lot of it has to do with, you know, Gen Z rising up, which is great. It helps dumb millennials like myself have a footing ground. It doesn't feel like we're constantly on the edge of being like tossed somewhere.
So many issues, and I think now, and I see it, so people might not get to see it. I see it when I walk down the street. I was sat this week, I was in a place called Our Beer. There's no English there, really, yeah? I'm sat in a restaurant, 3 different people come up to me at that restaurant about September 13th.
I remember the first time I interviewed you in like 2017, and we went to a hotel in London, and we're going to this hotel setup, and it's just like rough-looking men would just spot him and just be like, "Come on, love what you're doing, Tommy." You know, this is years ago, back when you were still Satan. You know, like to everyone, you know.
Yeah, you know, Satan's supposed to look good, looking good, man. What are you gonna say?
Yeah, and it was just, you know, and I get recognised enough on the street as it
Now
is,
it's
but-
posh people.
Yeah, but
Now it's
yeah,
posh people.
exactly right. But let's watch this, because this is just one of
Posh
those
people.
clips where it's everything about the current moment is contained within.
I'm supposing that posh people means people that speak with his particular like style of British accent. I'm not British, so I don't know. So, but that's what I believe that they're saying.
In it.
I just think it's really, really important for people to understand that there are no safe and legal routes for refugees to come to this country. This is the only way they can come here. It's on a boat to pay. Yeah, Yeah, they've got the whole of Europe. But, why should we put that burden on the rest of Europe?
But do you not think
we still have to take responsibility for the fact that we have a lot of stakes in the conflicts and the climate crisis that causes people to be refugees and have to.
Man, it's so sad that these people get brought into these lies so early and they just believe it. Like the Western world is the villain of everyone's problems. And don't get me wrong, we've done bad things, right? We definitely have. But you can't tell young men, young people, young mothers, young children that they have to bear the brunt and bear abuse due to the crimes of the past.
They're not choosing to leave their country at their home, their children, their parents.
Fucking children, you shouldn't count.
God. What about our children? You cunt, dude. That's so right. That's so right. Like, dude, you can tell the working class situation here from the reactions. Instant laugh, big smile. They know. He ain't wrong though, right? The little eyebrows, like, probably a little bit far. He ain't wrong though. He's like, oh yeah, you kind of deserved it, but maybe. You know, the reaction circle here.
Right. That really feels like the current moment at the moment.
That's the English beginning to hate in real time. Actual footage.
Absolutely that. And the thing is, you've got a woman who...
The fact that they weren't polite enough to let her finish could tell you how pissed off the English were, right? Because usually, even if they hate you, they'll let you talk and they'll be like, you're a cunt. You know, sometimes you're just like, fair.
Who's obviously had quite a privileged upbringing. She's probably had a great education. She's very genteel. She comes from the sort of liberal Democrat wing of politics. You know what I mean?
Nice person.
I'm sure she's a lovely person.
I think that's the problem. They're just naive and stupid.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. That's often how it happens.
She's a nice person.
It's not even stupid. It's ignorance, you know? They're uneducated on this situation, and they've been brought up in a system where everyone around them tells them these things, and they think that they're real. They think it's truthful. Climate change is what's causing a lot of these people to move places. You know, that's not it. For instance, that's just like a buzzword that you're just like programmed to repeat.
Person.
That is exactly it. And she's got all of these abstract, high-minded, but they're refugees, they need help. And then you can hear the guy on the ground, he comes from the bottom, man. You can tell that this guy has just had enough. I'm not taking your liberal platitudes. I'm not being all soft about it. No, and I'm going to bloody tell you. And you can feel the rage that's boiling up.
Well, it's because in all this conversation, right, everybody ignores the children of the people that are there that are actually being affected by this. The families that are being affected by this, you know, they have a housing crisis, they have this, they have that, you know, they have a lot of problems. And the British government has seemed to make it their problem to deal with the problems of the world instead of the problems of their people.
And the thing is, they're well aware, right? They're well aware. So there's
And the average person isn't stupid. You know, they might not speak as well as you. They might not be as polite as you or as educated as you even. But people on the street, they read or they watch videos, right? They have an idea of what's going on. And they also have the idea of their own situation.
A report from the British Future think tank the other day that just declared that basically Britain's a powder keg and we're expecting a summer of riots. Because the thing is, like, the Epping thing is bad, right? But it could be worse, right? And that's what we saw in Southport, right? Yeah, obviously a illegal molesting a child, terrible, but it's not a mass murder. And
what happens when one does this summer?
Well, exactly. And the thing is, I mean, we can tell that the establishment is just sat there every day. They wake up and go, please no mass murder, please just don't murder a bunch of people. And so this is what this report is talking about. And
because they haven't got enough prison space to lock up all the mums tweeting about it.
Yep, they absolutely haven't. I mean, so the important quote from this, I think, is that it said that the successive governments have failed to take sustained proactive measures to address social cohesion, and that a doom loop of inaction, crisis, and piecemeal response has failed to strengthen the foundations of communities across the country.
Oh, well, isn't that the damn truth? Yeah, that's actually a good article. In comment to what these other guys said about there's probably just not enough prison space to arrest all the moms tweeting. Yeah, you can get arrested in Britain and UK for tweeting now, if it's considered like hate speech. And all it has to be considered hate speech is somebody could be offended by it. But I also think that the government knows that if they went around arresting moms, then real riots would start. Yeah, you know, these are very tame in comparison to what they could be. If you go arresting moms, yeah, no, it's done.
So what that means is they're screwed, right? They know that the country is completely fractured, and it's mostly the English people are just furious at this point. Like, everyone can tell we've been completely sold out.
That's been their biggest fear, is sort of, you know, British majority, whatever you want to call them, finally get out on the streets and say enough is enough. The weird thing is, every single action they've done has been provoking that. That's what I always come back to. Like, this is exactly what you would do if you wanted civil unrest. You'd smuggle in thousands of secret Afghans. You'd lock up a mother for a tweet. You know, the amount of things they do.
Like, and you wouldn't. They didn't go back on it. You're
Right.
doubling down on it.
Yeah.
And then they're called far right as well. You're just racists. You're just far right thugs. You know, your concerns aren't valid.
Release actual criminals, popping off champagne, putting people for tweets. You would do all of this if you wanted to create civil unrest.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people, you know, seem to think and believe as well that it's basically by design. Well, Keir Starmer said it was the topic of immigration. This was done by design. So
the Labour Party have been pretty open about it.
Yeah,
it can't not be.
Exactly.
Everyone
you
knows.
don't accidentally do this, right?
No, if they wanted to stop the boats, they'd stop the bloody boats. It'd take 10 minutes. Realistically, the Navy would stop it. Donald Trump gets in. Literally, it ends. Yeah,
second month of zero crossings. You know, I'm like, yeah, these people lie to you, and they're like, oh, it can't be done. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. It could have been done the whole time. It just wasn't being done, and we all know it.
Could stop it. None of them want to stop it.
But what they are going to try and stop is you. So look at this. Starmer vows strengthened crackdown on rioters. So he's already come out. Number 10 has already come out and made the point that, look, if you do something, we're going to come for you. Now, Starmer hasn't done a direct statement to the country yet, like he did after Southport, which was an atrocious statement. But they say, in a sign that Keir Starmer is not willing to tolerate a repeat of the riots that followed the Southport murders, the Home Office has issued a statement saying it's prepared for any disorder that might erupt this year. A government spokesman said, while the public have a right to protest against the current situation, we will never tolerate unlawful or violent behaviour. Working closely with the police, we have thorough and well-tested contingency plans in place to deal with any public disorder, which have strengthened since last year's shameful scenes. So I love that. Even at the very end there, you're bad people. You are shameful. How dare you get out on the streets and be angry about what the people we bring into this country do to your children? It's like, okay.
Yeah, it's crazy that they're trying to blame them. They're also blaming, on the headline, a specific subgroup, the Tories specifically.
They won't tolerate anyone coming out against it, but they are tolerating the migrants they're bringing in doing it. They are tolerating it.
Yep.
There's no strong words or strong action against. Look, this isn't going to happen again. We know why you're scared. We know communities are scared. We're going to make sure everyone's vetted. They're not just going to be dumped into your communities without anyone knowing who they are. There's no mention of it. They don't even mention it.
That's what a government who didn't hate us would say. This government hates us. And so they're telling us, listen, we are bringing in what is essentially a privileged client group. We're bringing them in. We're going to put them up in hotels at your expense. And if you come out and object to this, we are going to oppress you. We are going to crack down on you. Is literally word for word what they're saying. It's like, right, okay. So this is why when Rupert Lowe's like, look, the state is the enemy, he is absolutely right. The British state is the enemy of the English people.
Yeah, it's hard not to see it that way.
And they just say it.
Do you know, it didn't work. You know, last summer when they done this, I thought it would work. And October 26th, when I was in jail, it didn't work. The numbers doubled. I thought their intentions with Lucy Connolly, with me, with all these people who spoke, cracking down, live streaming it, showing you the arrest, trying to put fear into the public that we can lock anyone up. We can lock granddads up. Look, we've done Peter Lynch. We don't care. We'll lock you all up. I thought that would put fear in the public and they wouldn't come out and demonstrate. They come out in double.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mix of like outrage and the Streisand effect. By doing that, instead of letting you fade into obscurity by just ignoring your existence or essentially sweeping you under rug, instead they brought attention to you, which made people think, oh, why?
The numbers. On September 13th, there's going to be far more than they've ever seen. So that ain't going to work.
No, it's just like COVID with the lockdowns. Exactly the same playbook. Exactly the same. You know, you look across the pond to like Australia, Canada, all of those countries, and how the governments dealt with dissent over there, and they did it here. It's the same pattern you're seeing. It's just a different topic.
We've had enough, though. You've been doing this for too long.
Yeah.
The British have had enough. That might have worked 10 years ago, yeah? That's not working now. Everyone's awake. Everyone knows what you're doing. They know you're flooding the country. They know our country's future's at risk. They know their children are not going to be safe. They're looking around. It used to be towns like Luton. Now they're looking around everywhere, thinking, hold on, it's changed. I met her in Norway recently when I was in Norway, and she didn't like me. And she said, now she lives in North Wales, yeah? She said they've put all the hotels in North Wales near her little beautiful...
Yep. Well, anyway, that's it for me. I'm going to leave a link to the full episode of this this podcast in the comment section, or not comment, the description below. Like, subscribe if you'd like to learn more about this type of things, or these type of things. Just, yeah, let me know. And, of course, I'll probably tag all these people in this just so they know I made a video and etc. etc. I'm not trying to steal views from them. But, it was really interesting to learn from a British perspective what's been going on, what people have been fighting about, and like the change in culture. Like, I do watch a lot of their videos, so I was kind of like kept up with the culture, but not as much as I once did. I liked Sargon of Akkad when he did like his. I watch a lot more of his solo content than I do the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, but that's just because it's not super relevant to me, even though it is interesting. All right, but anyway, have a good day. Hope you like the soup.